Hello, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, cushions of the world. We've got Danny, Kevin, and myself. We are here at the Square Table Communion, which is the running title because we don't have another title yet.
We haven't discussed another title yet.
We have not, but we are here. We are talking about, first, how's everyone's days/week been?
Kim, why don't you start us off?
Oh, it's been good. Just a lot of Final Fantasy XIV. I'm super into that game right now.
Yeah.
Today was my mom's birthday. Hung out with her. It was a really good time.
Nice.
I wish I'd known that, or else I would have said happy birthday.
I probably should have said that when we stopped by. We stopped by today multiple times.
Yeah.
You really messed up, John.
I mean, I was here for half of them,
You really messed up.
and I didn't know. Look, I didn't hear no happy birthday either from you.
As the Ferengi would say, stupidity is not an excuse.
Yeah, well, you...
Ferengis are jerks.
Well,
And I did wish them wish her a happy birthday.
good for you.
For the record, I did.
Good for you.
I also high-fived her.
It's true, he did.
You had what?
I high-fived her.
Oh, nice.
And he gave her a cookie.
Nice.
Sugar cookie.
Yeah, she came over here and kept her distance.
Because I don't know about that John character.
I mean,
She wasn't like keeping her distance from you.
no, it's just she was at a distance.
Yeah, she was standing right here.
And I was over on the couch playing Monster Hunter. So,
Milton was also right there too, and she likes Milton.
yeah. Yeah.
She likes cats.
That's cool. In 14, what level have you reached now? Of what class?
I'm a 63 on my monk.
Whoop. Dang.
Yeah.
Did you finish the base game, or are you still going through those?
No, I'm in Heavensward now. I'm like 25 quests in.
Okay.
So, I think that's maybe like a quarter of the way through it.
I thought Heavensward was a lot of fun.
It's, I'm actually paying attention to the story this time around. It's really good. It's really
Just
good.
wait till you get to the later ones.
Shadowbringers, I heard, was
Shadowbringers is-
amazing.
Super good.
Everyone I know loves Shadowbringers, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Endwalker's looking pretty good.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit last time with Endwalker. Ooh.
I did manage to get a botanist to level 35 in one sitting, which to me is hilarious.
That is
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah.
I found out you can get cock feathers from trees right outside of Ul'dah.
Mm-hmm.
So I farmed 99 of them. And then I guess it is email, but I mailed them to Mark in game,
Yeah.
along with 20 high quality ones that I found.
Pristine cock feathers.
Of
You
the
hear that?
highest quality.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Pristine cock feathers.
Yes. Well, that's cool. Anything else of note?
I did 60 squats 2 days ago. My legs really hurt.
60 squats in one go?
And 3 sets of 20.
I was about to say, 60 is a little much at one time. Unless that's your norm.
If that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, though.
So yeah, they had the legs hurt in all the right places, so they're gonna look good when they're done.
Yes. Yes.
Ow.
The usual for me, honestly. A couple D&D session. Nope, only one D&D session because one player is still out of town. For what was going to be 3 weeks, which is now 5 or 6 weeks.
Dang.
He's stranded.
Is he?
So
He's just
basically,
Yeah, he's just got to wait for the things to finish, and then he can move.
Gotcha.
so basically what happened was we didn't have a Friday session. Like, this is the second one in a row that we haven't done. And that was when he initially went to go help a friend of his move from, like, Washington to Kentucky or something.
I remember you mentioning that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he started that move, but by the time he got to Boise in Idaho, he found out the unfortunate news that his friend's new place of residence, they can't move into it until June 1st.
Ooh.
And so now they're having to basically put that off for several days, which means that any D&D group that he's in, which is both of the ones I'm in, he's not going to be there for an extra 2 weeks.
That sucks.
Down a person now.
Yeah. Other than that, been playing a little bit of Mass Effect.
I do need to start that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. Mass Effect 1 looks amazing now.
I saw last week, after we recorded, I went and hung out with Danny and watched him play a bit of it.
Yeah.
And Shepard's eyes are...
They're bulging.
They're pools.
They're beautiful.
They're pools of galaxy swirls and wonders.
It's inspiring.
They're also massive.
That's why it's called Mass Effect.
He has special eyes.
For his special brand for his special eyes. And then I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter again.
Jumped right back in.
Yep, didn't take long.
Took like 2 weeks off, and now he's back at it.
Yep. Got a setup in front of my TV over here where I just took a side monitor and play it on that with no sound. Which is really nice, means I don't have to hear like Narga Kuga or Diablo screaming in my ear.
Carve, carve, carve.
Yeah, I don't have to hear that either. But I've been, yeah. I'd say the most consistent thing would probably be me playing a lot of, or not playing, but watching the rest of the Marvel stuff that I hadn't watched yet, or was re-watching.
You're doing a timeline run.
I did it. I watched every MCU movie in chronological order over the last month,
Wow.
except for 3 of them, and that's only because 2 of them are not on on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Which ones?
The 2 Spider-Man movies.
Oh, yeah.
Since those aren't on there, I can't watch them. The one movie that is on Disney Plus that I not necessarily refuse to watch, I made the conscious effort to skip, was Thor 2.
Really?
I don't like that one.
It's the worst.
It is the worst of
It's
the
the
3.
worst of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Worse than Captain Marvel?
Yes. Captain Marvel is uninspired. Thor 2 is a mess.
Okay.
I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know who directed.
The only Thor I've seen is Ragnarok, which I really liked.
Thor Ragnarok is the best of the 3.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, because,
One is early in the MCU, so they didn't find the little niche
Yet.
at the moment.
Plus, he looked weird in the first one. Thor. Comparatively. He looked very, baby Thor. Bore. He looked odd to me, having rewatched it recently.
It also introduced the titular character, Hot Guy.
Who?
Loki?
Hot Guy. No. This is the first time we get to see a Hot Guy in action.
Oh, you mean Mashed Potatoes Face? I thought you said Hot Guy.
Yeah, that's what I call him. What do you call him?
Mashed Potatoes Face?
That's fair.
He's not hot.
Legitimately, who are we talking about?
Hot Guy.
Are you talking about Hawkeye?
Hawkeye.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. It sounds like you're saying Hot Guy.
He is a hot guy.
Except he's in-
Except he's not, John. Is that what you're about to say? Well, I'm leaving now, so I'll just see y'all later.
Yeah, watch that on the recording.
Insulting my hot guy.
What a
It's
bitch.
right there, Danny. There's your.
Tantrum? Yeah, that's what I would call
Ian's
it.
going to have to deal with that.
It's barely noticeable.
It's
Also, you guys may notice that Danny actually did walk away from the table because he was more quiet than his quiet usualness. So
his usual
I'll
quietness.
have you know I'm not usually quiet. This is a normal volume, John.
and I'm sure Ian's gonna have to pump up your volume.
Bump it up, Ian.
Pump it up. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing.
Did you finish your rewatching of all of it?
I finished it today, the day of recording.
What is the last?
The last thing is the final episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh, okay.
That is the final one on Disney Plus. And then, as of the day of recording this, which is the
24th.
24th, in less than 2 weeks, Loki comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Is it a film or is it a show?
It's another TV show.
Ooh, okay.
Time cops. Well, reality cops.
Essentially. I can't even say spoilers because you can piece this together if you've watched, Endgame and the trailer.
I haven't.
What?
I took you to see Endgame in
I've
theaters.
seen Endgame.
You didn't see the trailer.
I haven't seen any trailers on Loki.
I haven't either.
So I won't say anything about what's in the trailer then.
Loki, presumably.
Well, obviously he's in it. I will tell you one actor that's in it, that's in the show, that you never expect.
Is it Patrick Warburton?
No.
That would be so.
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
I just
What about,
wanted-
Senor de la Cruz.
Hey, Loki.
Hey, Loki. Hey, Peter.
Hey, Pete. Hey, Loki.
Hey, Lois. So, Owen Wilson,
That's
Blessed.
right.
the
That's
titular voice
right. Wow.
of the Kerchew man himself,
You speak of
Lightning McQueen.
Lightning McQueen. Ciao.
Kerchew. Yeah, no, he's in the Loki show.
Nice. Wow, even.
Wow.
Wow.
The gist of the show is essentially following the events of in Endgame. Spoilers if you haven't seen it, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's on Disney Plus.
What if they don't have Disney Plus?
It's not
Then
as
go
good
buy the
as,
Blu-ray.
It's not as good
What
as
if they
the
don't have
one
the money?
before it.
It's as not good as what?
The one before it.
Infinity
So,
War.
Did you
Yes.
say what if?
It's
didn't-
not.
I was going to say, I don't think it's as good as Infinity War.
No, Infinity War is better than Endgame. But
I digress because I'm the unpopular opinion in the room.
you liked Endgame more than Infinity War?
I like them both equally for different reasons. Which is
That sounds like a neutral stance.
See, that's the thing though, Danny. That is so me.
That sounds like a very neutral stance.
Because again, I like both of them equally, but for different reasons. But
I dislike them both equally for different reasons.
Now you're just
Um,
instigating.
I am. I'm good.
the Loki show is based off of in Endgame. You know when Loki gets the cube,
Yes.
the Tesseract,
Yes.
and he out.
Yep.
Supposedly, it's following that Loki.
Mm-hmm.
It's low key following that Loki.
So I see
Um,
what you did there.
and so shenanigans are going to happen, and I'm curious to see, based on how WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier have gone and went.
But now we've got a character with bona fide powers.
Mhm. And Wanda isn't?
No. As described in her show, she is having breakfast for dinner with her powers. Loki shows no such restraint.
We have breakfast for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Loki
Points out how mundane it is.
Loki fucks a horse. Sorry, gets fucked by a horse.
Well, don't kink shame, man.
I'm not king shaming. I'm just stating a fact.
Okay.
And a fact that breakfast for dinner is a good thing.
It sounds
I
like
agree.
you are agreeing with my point then.
I am saying that both are equally good.
This guy.
But based on how WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier went, I'm curious to see how Loki's...
Lokiness goes.
Yeah, like I'm interested to see how the plot thickens.
So you're low key interested in the plot.
No, I'm high key interested in the plot.
Okay.
I'm wanting to know what kind of oatmeal the plot turns into.
Hope it's dinosaur eggs.
That would be a shock.
Because oatmeal is thick. I want to see how thick the plot gets.
Yes.
Anyway, Danny. Danny, how has your week been?
Oh, you know, lots of work. It's been pretty good. I believe it was over a week ago that I finished up Pokemon Snap. So I haven't played that for more than a few minutes. But I did do a lot of Mass Effect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right at the end of the first game. I've been pretty thorough. I'm a pretty high level. I just went to Vermeer.
Okay.
That is the fourth story mission out of, I'm going to say probably 5, maybe 6. But like the next story mission just starts the end game sequence that you can't, it's the point of no return. So on Vermeer, a lot of important decisions happen. And
It has been a long time since I played 1. What was Vermeer again?
Vermeer was a beachside looking area.
Right, where you have to go help the Solarians.
The big thing is that the Krogan in your party, Rex.
And that as well. Yeah. Go ahead, sir. I was just making a comment for myself.
You get there and find out that the bad guy is recruiting Krogans into his army, but he's also curing them of the disease that is killing them all off.
Oh, okay.
And so Rex, who is a long time, we need to stop fighting and actually fix this problem, but no one else of the Krogans wants to, and he's not a scientist. So he's like, whatever. He's like, seems to me like that's not the bad guy here. Why are you telling me we need to stop this guy? He's fixing this disease.
Saren is his name.
Saren is the bad guy.
I do remember you guys. I never played 1
Okay.
past the intro place, but I remember you and Eric talking about Saren a lot.
Yeah, he's pretty good bad guys.
Is
I
it?
like the Elusive Man a little more.
Yeah, Elusive Man was really
Elusive Man
good.
was great.
I didn't like his ninja friend he got in 3. I thought that guy was so dumb.
Oh,
He was so out of place.
yeah.
I don't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Who's the guy from Metal Gear 2?
Raiden?
He's just riding.
Raiden's better than him.
I feel like Raiden has much better delivery.
It even rained the day I was born. And Snake's like, you're wrong. You were the lightning in that rain. Anyway,
How was he wrong if the brain was there?
You're wrong. Because he's trying to have a pity party and
know.
Snake's not having it. Anyway,
Snake never has it.
Snake never has it. He crawls through a microwave. Anyway,
Hey man, that was a really tough scene to watch.
it really was. And the little robot could have easily done it, but whatever.
I've only played 1 Metal Gear game in my life. So
Which one?
5.
That's good.
That's a good.
4 is a lot of fun.
4 is good.
I know people are divided on 4. I
Yeah.
thought it was a fun watch.
I've watched a few.
You watched 3?
I'm not sure.
Snake
Yeah, the
Eater.
jungle one.
I remember the boss fight,
Snake Eater is,
or the final boss fight.
I think it's like almost unanimously like the best story of all of them.
It's really good.
Really good.
I don't doubt it.
If I were to recommend you watch a game, which I don't, because I think that's weird, watch the story of 3.
You just called
We were on a
like part of.
fucking Let's Play channel for a year.
It's weird, man. I don't know what to tell you.
You also just called a huge part of my life weird.
I don't know what to tell you.
I watch a lot of games.
It's weird to me. I play a lot of games. Anyway, with Saren, you have to convince Rex to not side with him. And if you cannot talk him down, you have to kill him. So you can potentially lose a party member in this mission. I won't go into any more detail about the mission because it's a pretty fun ride. That's just a part of it. But like a lot of big stuff happens. A lot of huge story points happen.
There's
There's like 6 reveals, and it's all
Yeah.
glorious. It's all so good. The story of 1 is the best story of the 3.
Really? Okay.
Yes. I think for a lot of people, the gameplay is the weakest, and then 2 hits that perfect balance where it's so good. But the story is slightly better in 1 because of reveals and the story building. And then in 3, the story sucks, but the gameplay is like really nice. It's clean.
Okay.
But I'm excited to go into 2. I've played through 1 and 2 once each. And 3, I think I went through a couple times. So I'm excited to revisit because it's been years.
yeah.
Other than that, just a little bit of Smash here and there, as always. It's unsurprising to anyone who knows me.
Yeah.
And that's it. I'm waiting on the new Smash character.
It's got to be soon,
It
right?
has to be soon. It's like every 3 months or so, it feels like.
It's going to be another Zelda character, and they're going to announce it during their big Zelda direct that we're
will-
probably going to hear about soon because this is Zelda's, 35th this year?
I will say,
It's possible.
I was scrolling through Twitter earlier today,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw that Nintendo of America just put out since it is the word of the day, apparently, titular tweet that all it said was in all caps, Groose, with an exclamation point and just a big picture of Groose.
Don't tempt my heart, man.
Dude, I'm just saying
I would be so happy to see my boy Groose.
I think Groose would make a great assist trophy because he could jump in the Groosinator in the
Groosinator, yeah.
background.
I'm just saying that's what they tweeted out today.
That's a very good
What
tweet.
if there's a Groose amiibo, and you can get the Groose mode like we were talking about
Oh,
in
yeah.
Skyward Sword?
In Skyward Sword, he makes a joke near the end. Because he helps in one of the battles. So he's like, I'm thinking of calling this whole thing Legend of Groose. Like, he makes that joke. And so we want there to be an amiibo of Groose where when you scan it, it becomes Legend of Groose. And all the characters, what do they just get? They get the pompadour and I think his face onto theirs.
But do we say it just makes Groose's Groose's pompadour just like 20% larger, but it's like immaculate and sparkling and
Yeah.
and
It's
shiny?
it's like 2B's butt in Automata.
Oh, better.
No, like comparatively, because like that butt had so many pixels,
It did.
and so just make like Groose's pompadour
Yeah.
have just the most pixels
Okay.
in the game.
I mean,
Like,
That was the comparison I was going for.
It
Gotcha,
needs to
gotcha.
lag when he's on screen.
When he's turning, you watch as it's just like
The physics engine nearly crashes every time he looks one way.
just like when Crisis, the first one came out and the NASA supercomputer was having problems running it.
that's funny.
Yeah.
But final note on Groose. He, in his own words, he has the most happening do in Skyloft, and that needs to be upheld.
Everyone knows he has the most happening do in Skyloft.
They finger guns me. I left them hanging.
Other than that, you never have to return a finger guns. Those are always gratis. Other than that, I guess there's a Biomutant game coming out
Uh-huh.
tomorrow. By the time this comes out, it
Yep.
will have been out.
And critic reviews are incredibly divisive right now.
Really?
Extremely. There's like 3.5 out of 10s. There's 4 out of 5 stars.
Is it like it doesn't run on my outdated console?
No. A lot of people are complaining that the world feels empty.
A typical complaint for sandbox type games.
So, I still might get it. I am interested in getting it, but I don't know if it's an instant buy for me.
I haven't been following it. I only learned about it probably a week ago, but it seems like a fun idea. And so I might pick it up. But I am playing the Mass Effect, and I typically try and check games off before I get new games. With exception. But that's been my week.
Yeah. Yeah. Good times.
Anything else?
Great oldies.
Anything else coming out soonish? Or
Next
Yeah.
thing on my radar is Zelda. That's in July.
so that's still a few months. So we got Loki coming out in a few weeks. Biomutant coming out soon. Oh, the Adventure Miitomo game came out.
Miiverse?
No,
No,
Miitopia.
Miitopia. That game's character creation is pretty incredible.
We've talked about this not on a podcast episode, but outside of it.
Yeah, my brother got it. He was a fan of the original game, but you can just look online and download versions. I think I showed you the one picture.
You sent me some Shantae someone made.
Yeah, that same guy has made like 100 different characters, and they're all like super good. Really good Pyra, really good Mithra, Rosalind. They even did like Twilight Midna.
I cannot believe, Kevin, that he said their names nonchalantly normal.
That is pretty odd.
That is very odd for you, Danny.
Pyra!
Mithra!
Mithra!
We've lost the upper hand.
No, we've lost the upper hand. You think you can take me? You're done.
Don't forget me.
You're done.
See here.
Big shout out to that game. So good.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2,
Very good game.
for those of you that are unaware.
It's beautiful. Beautiful. As seen in the hit game Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was bad. Yeah, that's been my week. I can't think of anything else coming out soon. So
I can't either. They need to hurry up and release a new Metroid game,
they need to just announce a Metroid game.
Well, they're working on Prime 4.
supposedly.
For how many years now?
Well, they had to restart it.
Why?
Because it wasn't good. Didn't they hand it off to... Because it was being done by Nintendo in-house initially, I think. And it wasn't going well, so I think they handed it to Retro. So if Retro's working on it, don't quote me though, I could be wrong, but that's just I haven't read into it. But
Yeah.
if Retro's working on it,
But they haven't said anything. It's been a long time since that news.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Prime is part of the canon
Yeah.
for Samus Aran.
Yeah.
I think they're all
I
all
think
canon.
every game, even Metroid Pinball.
What about Federation?
Yes. Federation Force?
Yeah,
I would assume it's canon.
that's unfortunate.
It's not a bad game. It's just not a good Metroid game.
So, when would 4 take place in like the timeline? Because I know that correct me if I'm wrong, Fusion is canonically the last game.
Mm-hmm.
When does 3? 3 was,
I want to say 3's before
3?
Super Metroid.
that was not Echoes. Echoes was 2, right?
Yes.
Echoes is
3 was Corruption.
Yeah. And so where does that take place? Do you know?
Well, they are all sequential. I don't think there's anything that interrupts the trilogy.
There's the Hunter's game on the DS,
Right.
but
So do you think that 4 takes place before or after Fusion?
I'd hope after.
Because that'd be dope as fuck.
Yeah, I want to see what's going on with the X parasites.
Yeah. Plus, I want to see if there's ever going to be the mention of Adam. Good old Adam Malkovich.
After Other M, I don't know if anyone wants to touch that guy again, which is unfortunate because they did his character dirty.
He's been retired. Twice.
I mean, in Fusion, Adam Malkovich is just now a voice in Samus's head.
No, it's an AI.
No, you're right. My bad.
But I think after the kerfumble that was Other M's story, because I think Other M had really good gameplay.
I didn't play Other M.
It's good. I'd recommend it. The story has major issues,
Okay.
but after that, I don't think we're going to be seeing Adam Malkovich anymore.
That's a shame.
It is a shame. That's why you don't give Metroid to.
Nintendo?
Well, no, it wasn't new. I don't know if it was. I don't know if Team Ninja wrote it. I know they worked on it, but I don't know if they wrote it. So I don't want
And
to.
it was Team Ninja.
I don't want to go around saying people who didn't write it. So,
Right.
I don't know.
Whoever wrote it didn't write it. Great.
Yeah.
Sure.
They should have just gone off the manga.
I mean, it
was
definitely
really
drew
fun.
inspiration from the manga. I can give it that much.
Yeah.
Also, another reason why I want to see it take place after Fusion. I want to see who, like, the big bad villains are going to be. Or, like, if they're going to deviate from, like, Mother Brain, Ridley, Kraid, stuff like that.
Well, they won't deviate from Ridley. I think that's going to be around forever. They can keep killing him, and he'll just keep coming back in other ways.
Yeah, we're gonna get Bio Ridley next.
Bio Ridley.
Like
That's a
Bio
good one.
Brawley.
Yeah. But in the
There was a mighty grimace on my face when he said that, for the record, ladies and gentlemen.
from McDonald's.
No, from Avengers.
Oh, okay.
Just don't call me Squidward.
Nice.
Is his name Grimace?
No.
It's not.
No, Thanos is not named Grimace. And then the Maw was given the nickname Squidward.
I remember him being given that. I didn't know the Maw's
his
name.
was the Maw.
Yeah, I didn't know it was the Maw.
Yeah, that was the telekinetic.
They called it the Maw. So in the DS game, 3DS game Hunters, Metroid Prime Hunters,
Didn't play that one either.
you play as Samus.
Okay.
The multiplayer, you play as the other bounty hunters that are around.
Okay.
They're all going after some legendary MacGuffin prize that makes you the best at whatever.
The shiny poop, yes.
Turns out it was not what anyone thought it was, but one of Samus's self-proclaimed biggest rivals is Sylix. He's in that game and only that game.
Mm-hmm.
If you do everything in the story, as Samus's ship takes off, you see Sylix's ship pulling up and following. So chances are, if there is Metroid Prime 4, Sylix will either be a part of it or the main part of it. He had the ability of basically Winston's gun from Overwatch. It was just an electric cannon
Nice.
in the multiplayer, and it was a nightmare to deal with because it drains health and feeds it to him.
Oh.
So if you can't out damage him, if your accuracy is bad,
Uh-huh.
he wins.
Gotcha.
But fun game.
Yes.
It's really good.
So we should probably get onto our topic for the evening,
Yes. Our topic, in a broad, general sense,
which will be narrowed in on.
supposedly, we may,
Oh, I got some places we can go.
as the infamous rock single, Ramble On, we may do that. So we'll see what happens. The topic is movies. We've kind of already started the topic, I guess, but talking about other movies, but
Side note about last week. Would you consider Xavier Renegade Angel to be a kid's show?
no.
Or a
What?
show from your childhood?
If it's from high school, then yes.
Okay.
So
So if
there were a couple shows that we were talking about that we remembered after we recorded. We did that on a quick note. Teen Titans was a big one for me.
yeah, we didn't mention that.
Surprised I forgot that because that's actually one of my favorite cartoons. But I digress. Xavier Renegade Angel would be a show from my childhood if
feel
we're
like-
talking high school.
I feel like that show just transcends categories. It's hard to box that one in.
I think that it would definitely not be a kids show.
There's very few people
That's
I know.
fair.
There's very few people I know who enjoy that show, Danny, and you're one of them.
It's
I can't say I don't enjoy it, mostly because I've only seen it in random amounts, and so I don't have a concise.
It is a hard show to describe without either
Extremely
without either overselling it or underselling it.
true.
It's
It's
okay.
an all or nothing show.
It's an Adult Swim show, but like the 2 a.m. Adult Swim. So take that however you want it, dear
Delightfully
listeners.
There was-
random ramblings.
There was another show that came out recently. I know we talked about the topic movies, ladies and gentlemen, but
We'll get to it.
we're getting to it in just a second.
We'll get to it.
There was another show that they did recently in the same vein, but not 3D like that. And it gets weird. Like,
What's it called?
I don't remember.
Wow.
Um,
I think I watched Ball Fondlers. I want to say that was the name of one way back when.
For
it's like a
Xavier.
sports game. It's funny. The voice of Master Shake is one of the characters,
Okay.
which had me stick around. But anyway,
just that show. it goes places. It gets really weird, really fast.
Sounds like my kind of show.
You'd probably love it. I'll have to look for it. I don't remember the name of it, but anyway. Movies.
So, are we going to talk genres, or are we just going to jump into top 3 personal favorites that we can think of?
That might be a good starting point.
The latter?
The latter.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you want to start us off again, or would you like some time to think?
I would like some time to think about. I have number 1 and 2 down easy. And
Okay.
Number 3.
Okay.
I'm going to be staring into space.
You don't have any?
I don't
Off the top
have... I don't know if I could narrow it down to 3.
Okay. That's
'Cause-
fair, because you're very neutral on a lot of things, so.
Well, it's either I'm neutral or I like it. And
You like a lot of them, but for different reasons.
Correct.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
It's a great day.
Well, I, for one, really love the movie
Thumbelina.
Fifth Element.
I need to watch that one. I've heard it's really good.
It's very good.
We'll get to Thumbelina tonight because that movie's beautiful.
Are you-
in all the wrong ways?
Are you the legitimate example of a meat popsicle, Danny?
I am a meat popsicle. That is a line from that show.
Also, the infamous and titular one-word phrase of multipass.
Multipass. That's a meme. That's okay. But the movie itself is great.
God,
The-
the show of that would be terrifying.
The comedic timing of the jokes. The whole movie's funny,
There's some,
but there's not like it's hard to describe because it certainly is a comedy, but that's not the focus. It's just the situations are so funny.
It's like a comedic drama.
Okay.
There's
I
not
think.
even incredible amounts of drama in it. It's
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
it's an action romp
With comedy.
with really cheesy. I'm gonna say self-aware cheesy romance
Yeah.
and really solid action scenes, and the whole thing is hilarious. At one point, there's a shootout in a fancy bar type setting, and the main character is a complete badass, played by
Bruce Willis.
Bruce
right?
Willis. Yes, complete badass. I think he runs out of ammo with his gun, and he sees one across the way, but it's like the bad guys are just standing there shooting. So he's calling out to the guy on the other side. Everyone's hiding, but the other guy, they introduced him as being like super hard of hearing, like he's basically deaf. So he sees Bruce Willis. He's like, "The gun, toss me the gun. Give me the gun." And he can. And so the guy's like, he's like, the gun, give me the gun. He's getting so mad. And so the guy like, oh, and like goes down and he grabs like pool balls and just like rolls them to him. And they just roll up to him. He looks and he just goes like, and the guy's like, he goes, "Thanks, man." And then like, then the bad guys are like just jump like the table and are just guns right in his face. He's like, "Oh my God." And the whole movie is, it's so good.
And there's a few like, because this movie, I just looked it up, was in '97.
Okay.
There's some like heavy hitter actors in this movie.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis is the main character. Mila Jovovich is arguably the female protagonist.
That's Mila Jovovich?
Yes, it is.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Gary Oldman.
I don't know. I don't know actors as a disclaimer at all. So you have to.
The Christian Bale Batman movies. He was Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, okay.
There's I don't know if this is the same. It's not the same movie. Never mind. Disregard. And then there's also Chris Tucker. You would recognize him immediately in The Fifth Element because he's the like pop singer that has like the elongated donut pompadour.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, fun fact I've heard, I believe, from my sister-in-law about that. He does not like getting credit for that role. He doesn't like what he did in that role. I wouldn't go as far as to say ashamed. I don't know for sure, but that's not one that he lists on his own list of achievements. I don't think he likes Ruby Rod.
No. Oh,
Which is
Not
understandable.
Not surprised,
Yeah.
but it's still, from what I've seen of that character, it's a pretty delightful role.
Very funny character. Very. Everything in this movie just keeps coming back to itself. I'm gonna do one more scene that I absolutely love.
Okay.
He's eating dinner, and the person who is serving him is like trying to cheer him up because he's having a bad day, and he's like, he gets a letter. It's in his own house. He gets a letter arrives, and he's just like, "Why don't you get your letter, man?" The person serving him, he's like, "Because it's gonna be bad news. You know, I don't need to see it." He goes, "I bet you dinner that it's good news." Like he's trying to like be optimistic. He's like, "All right, man, here," and hands it to the chef. Mm-hmm. The chef opens it up and goes, "You are fired," and just like looks. He goes, "At least I get a free dinner out of it." And he goes, "There you go." Always seeing the positive, and then just kind of like leaves. Just like the delivery. Oh man,
That sounds pretty delightful.
it's a good watch, and I would love to sit down with you and watch through it.
We should do it sometime.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my first movie.
Okay.
I also am a big fan of the Fantastic Mr. Fox movie.
Yeah, that one's good.
I was very concerned for like a millisecond that I thought you were going to say Fantastic Four. And I was about to be like,
Those are great too.
Daddy, how dare you?
Those are so great.
They're
I
on Disney
remember-
Plus if you didn't know.
Oh, I didn't know because I don't like them. I remember watching one of them and being like, this is what am I watching?
Do you remember when we watched The Silver Surfer on Toon Disney?
The animated Silver
Yes.
Surfer. Okay.
With the episode with Beta Ray Bill and the magical dream dimension where all your wishes come true.
Yeah.
And then there was Thanos and Dormammu.
Yes. I remember this well. Definitely better than the Fantastic Four, rather. Fantastic. I almost said Fantastic Mr. Four. But the Fantastic Mr. Fox, another movie that is hilarious.
I need to watch that with you.
Have you not?
I have not.
Okay.
It is really
I'm
good.
genuinely disappointed because, correct me if I'm wrong, that is a Wes Anderson movie.
Yes.
It is.
And that bothers the hell out of me that it is a Wes Anderson movie I have not seen.
It is very, very funny. It's a very dry humor.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just Danny humor.
It's right up my alley.
Mm-hmm.
Everything goes full circle in it.
It checks all your boxes.
It is very, very funny. I really can't even explain. Like any scene in the movie is just enhanced by the scenes before. Like it all is just, it's such a good package of a movie. And I've tried to get a lot of family members to watch it. And one of my brothers, I knew he never would, but I was always like, why don't you watch this with me? And so he would come in my room and tell me something and it would be on. And so like with no context, it was hilarious to him. But it's near the end of the movie.
Okay.
And Mr. Fox is on a motorcycle with a couple other characters. And they're stopped and they're looking up the road and there's just a wolf in the distance. And they're just like looking at him. And the one's like he's trying to speak with him. Mm-hmm. And the wolf is just not responding. And so he's just like trying to speak Latin. He's like, Vulpes, whatever. And like, he like turns to them. He's like, I don't think he speaks Latin, like to the others. And then he like looks at them and goes, I have a phobia of wolves. And like the wolf is just still staring at him. Mm-hmm. And like, he's just like, and so all he can do is just raise his fist, like forwards, just like fight the man kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the wolf in the distance, you just see the silhouette of him slowly lifts his arm up too and just like, and then just leaves. And then Mr. Fox turns around to them and goes, what a fantastic creature. And then just like, and then they just take off. My brother was like, what the hell? But it's like, oh man, it's so funny. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love this movie so much.
That's fair. From what I've heard, it is a very good movie.
Yes, and I would love to sit down and watch it with you as well.
We'll make a movie day of it.
Yes.
The obvious first movie is going to be Holes.
Yeah, well, yeah. Shia LaBeouf. I know all about Holes.
More like Shia LaBeouf. Oof.
As for the third movie,
it's obviously Holes.
National Treasure.
Legitimately?
No. I think it's a very fun watch. It's one of those movies, and I don't like to use this too often because I don't think it's justifiable. But the kind where you're supposed to just turn your brain off and just be along for the ride. You don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Independence Day is one of those movies where it is not smart at all. But you just go along for the ride. You just say, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And just gloss over a bunch of stuff. That movie is better than Independence Day in that regard.
Okay.
I don't know. I'd have to think a little more so we can move on to you guys if you have any of yours.
Do we want to do 3 or just favorite movies that come to mind?
Well, we all have. Well, I definitely have 2. I can talk about more than I like. I did think of a close third. So
Go for it.
So my favorite movie of all time is the Goofy movie.
I did know this.
That is, yeah, it makes sense.
It's like I think anyone that knows you knows this fact.
I have watched this movie frame by frame,
Numerous times.
Literally frame by frame, like 5 times. Danny's been there for 2 of them, right?
Yes. We have frame by frame that movie.
There are some
very funny in betweens.
Yes, some the scene where PJ is talking to Max on the RV.
I have seen those ones because you showed me.
I make sure to show those to everyone. I mean, if you get to know me well enough, you will see those. But yeah, no, I remember the first time I saw those, I was crying so hard from how hard I was laughing. Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about it, man.
I think the music, all the songs are great in that movie.
They are. It's got a good, like, nice, father-son bonding, touching story.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a meme that talks about it, and it's just like when you're a kid, you're just like, come on, Goofy, just let him go to the concert. It's really important to him. And then as you grow up, you're like, come on, Max, just go fishing with your dad. It's so important to him. Right?
Yeah.
And it's just like both sides are very, well, I'm not going to say justified because
they're reasonable.
Max is not reasonable, but you can understand his feelings on it. Mm-hmm. I'll say that. Saying, I'm actually best friends with a rock star and I'm going to perform live with him
on stage
to a girl you're trying to impress. Not a lot of foresight. But it worked out in.
Yeah.
Well, when your dad's a little goofy, anything can happen.
No, Max is a little goofy.
That is true. I guess we should talk about Goof Troop.
Oh, no.
I can't talk. I haven't seen that much of Goof Troop, surprisingly.
That wasn't even on our last podcast.
The show or the game?
If we're talking about the game, I could talk about playing it with Danny because he fucking hates me in that game because I'm a little asshole in that.
I was saying the show, but...
I have not seen any of the show.
Yeah, I've seen like 8 episodes. I didn't have 2 Disney.
I don't think I've watched much of it either, honestly, but that opening song was more than enough for me to change the channel every time. I would stick around for the entirety of the song and be like, that was terrible, and then I would find out what else is on.
You didn't need 30 minutes for the episode.
No.
You were good with like 3 minutes.
Yeah. How about the sequel? The direct sequel.
Oh, the Extremely Goofy movie?
Yes.
I really enjoyed that one as well.
There's some pretty good, I think you showed me a couple frame by frames of that.
Spectacular ones. Anything with Bradley Uppercrust III.
Yep.
That man's facial expressions are gold.
Oh, yeah.
I think there were a couple where I paused it and sent you pictures and was just like, I want you to construct this man's skull. Like, can you just overlay the skull? Because it's like his teeth. You can see his teeth at the end, but he's doing like the monkey lip thing where it's like pursed and way stretched, and his head is like cocked back, and it's just like, what is happening in this scene? But
there's that scene where he's talking to Goofy at the half pipe when he's trying to recruit him into the Gammas to make Max jealous, and there's just like these 4 frames. Where Goofy's sitting there, like, looking really uncomfortable. And Bradley just has, like, these weird gremlin, like, awkward, like, anxious, sad, not even fingers, just, like, this weird, awkward, sad, anxious gremlin face.
I think if possible, maybe we could throw a few of those frames.
Oh yeah,
If you can send them to-
I have a lot of those saved on my phone.
Okay.
Speaking of gremlins and frames, let's not forget those magical 4 frames in the Powerline concert where Max turns into a gremlin and he shrinks down, and it's great because when Goofy flies on stage and interrupts the show, Powerline he just keeps going and singing with it because he's a fucking pro like that.
He is a very professional.
And he's sitting there watching this man who just interrupted his show, and Max is he's yelling at him from the rafters, do the perfect cast. Yeah. And so Goofy just starts doing his thing, and Powerline's kind of sitting there, kind of leaning back, hands on his waist, just kind of I can respect this guy, and he starts doing it.
Yeah.
So when Max lands on stage, if you notice, Powerline is leaned forward, both fists clenched, like he's about to beat Max's ass. And then Max starts dancing, and then Powerline just realizes he can't. He can't. He starts dancing with Max.
He's just part of it now. He's one with the machine.
He knows how to take lives rogue waves.
Yeah, sure.
I wonder if they were fined for their interruption of the concert.
Probably not.
Afterwards.
Powerline was probably y'all are welcome anytime. Because it's Powerline.
That is true.
It is Powerline. He is the coolest rock star on the planet.
What happened to the security guard that flew into the screen and got fried?
Oh, he's dead.
He got turned into a Thanksgiving turkey.
He wasn't there anymore. He's gone. He's gone.
I have a feeling I know what your second movie is.
I also have a guess.
Okay. Take your guesses after we talk more about the Goofy movie, unless we have nothing else to say about it.
Do you have anything else to say about it?
I mean, it's the fucking Goofy movie.
I do feel like we could go on for probably hours on Goofy movie.
Ian and I have remixed the entire soundtrack multiple times.
I would say for anyone who somehow hasn't watched it, if you need a break from modern living, you should load it up sometime.
If you long to shed your weary woes.
Yes.
If your nerves are shot and your brain is fried, watch this movie.
And I'd go with them if I could. I'm in no hurry.
I'm remixing that song that I did.
Oh my goodness, Kevin's remixes are so funny. We could put them up sometime.
I mean, we can link them in the video description. They're on SoundCloud, all of them.
Okay.
Lots of Thumbelina ones.
Oh,
Baby, it's the Beetle Ball.
Hot to Trot.
Hot to Trot, Marry the Mole.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Marry the Mole.
Lest we forget that one.
It's basically always looping in here.
I do feel like no offense to Goofy movie, we should move on.
We should.
Before we get too deep into that.
What was your guess?
My guess for your second favorite movie is your time living here. One of your comfort movies. I'm going to say your second favorite movie is Cool Runnings.
It is not, but it is up there. I really, really enjoy that movie.
I have a different guess. I thought we were going to be on the same page on this one. We're not. I was going to guess The Emperor's New Groove.
No, actually, I like that one a lot. It's not up there, though.
Okay.
Is it Thumbelina?
Oh, God, no.
No.
Absolutely not. That's one of my favorite bad movies.
Literally, no one's favorite movie.
So here's the thing. I loved that movie as a kid. I was a very stupid child, apparently. I still have it on VHS. It's at Mark's house because I made him watch it there. Mm-hmm. But no, it is Shrek 2.
Oh!
I adore Shrek 2.
That is wonderful, actually.
That's
a really solid movie.
Just everything is it's better than the first. It builds on the first. And it's just a fun ride the whole way through.
Yeah.
The I Need a Hero segment at the end where they're storming the castle, always a fun watch.
Mm-hmm.
I think that movie is the perfect example of how to build to a climax.
As well as a good example of a good sequel. How to build a good sequel.
Yes.
And
then 3 happened.
We don't need to talk about any sequels. Actually, there is one sequel we need to talk about today, but not yet, though.
Okay.
I only have, Did you want to say a third one correctly, or were you still thinking on it?
Wreck-It Ralph.
The first one.
The first Wreck-It Ralph.
To be fair, The only good thing about the second one, to me, is Gal Gadot. She is
Is she in that movie?
She's the voice actor of the female driver in the last...
The badass driver.
The badass female
I
driver.
don't even remember. I saw that in theaters. I remember that area. I don't remember that character though. I remember that she exists, but I can't picture her in my head.
Vanellope Von Cruz is like
Schweitz.
way into her.
Penelope von Schweetz. You.
Say it, John. Say what you're thinking.
You gosh darn beautiful human being, you.
Thank you. You too.
Wow. Okay.
So, why did you resonate with Wreck-It Ralph 1?
I think the story overall is just really good. But it's the message of accepting yourself for who you are, which was a big thing for me at the time. So that it clicked with me, sort of thing.
Okay. I do have a little bit of input about that movie because I also enjoy it quite a bit. I personally like the villain's side of the story, not the motivations, but like it builds up to the point where he confronts King Candy, and King Candy explains we cannot let her race because she glitches, and his logic is very solid. It's like everyone could lose their jobs here and be homeless. We'd get unplugged because they think the game is broken. And it's like, dang, that's a really solid, like, that is very good. And it wasn't a
That's what
lie.
happens when you have John Lasseter working on your movies.
Yeah.
Everything that guy touches is gold.
It's like, this isn't, he's not even lying about this. This is actual thing.
Is his actual name Midas?
It could be.
And is he in fact a king?
He is, so when I was in art school, he was touted to me as one of the most creative human beings alive.
Got it.
But I remember, because, like, speaking of him, I remember I went to go see Zootopia.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't expecting it to be bad or anything, but I was just expecting a decent time. But, I watched it, I was like, wow, this blew my expectations of it out of the water. And his name was, like, the second one to pop up in the credits. I was like, that's why.
It's a solid movie.
Very
Does
solid.
the reference of King Midas not ring with you, Diane?
Oh, I know King Midas from Aladdin 3.
King of Thieves, yes.
Yes.
That was an actual fabled person in the real world as well.
Everything he touched
Turned to gold.
I read a child's book about something similar, but it was chocolate.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, and he almost died because he would go to drink out of a water fountain, and it would be chocolate sauce. So, like, I was just like, this sounds like hell. And then I think he went to kiss his mother on the cheek or something.
And she turned to chocolate.
She turned to chocolate. I forget how it ends. I think just the world turns to chocolate and game over. Anyway, this isn't about books.
Yes.
What a fucking horrible story.
I think it ends
I
a
would-
lot. I think it ends
It's
a
a-
lot
it's a
better
lot-
than that.
Kill myself if I was in his
It's
position.
definitely like a stereotypical like child story too.
Yeah. Because you think you can't have too much of a good thing.
So for me, if I'm gonna try and go about this in a logical sense, because again, I have way too many movies that I love. Shut up, Danny.
For different reasons.
Yes,
Equally.
legitimately.
Okay. Do any stand out? Do you
I was going to go about this logically.
Okay.
A recent favorite, Wolfwalkers, is an animated movie that is a hand-drawn style movie. I believe it came out a few months ago. It's already gotten awards and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I've seen it around.
It is, when I saw it at a friend of mine's house, it was me and several other people. We watched it, and there's a very specific trope that gets me real good, like in the feely feels department. And that movie got me twice. And not to mention that I love the story of it. I love the character developments. I love just everything about it.
Okay. What's the the overall plot.
So there's these characters that live in a nearby forest. It's set in like what is supposed to be essentially like ancient England.
Okay.
And by ancient I mean like
1600s.
yeah.
Okay.
And there's these people that live in a nearby forest of the main town called the Wolfwalkers, where they have these command over the wolves of the forest. There is a man and his daughter who shows up in town where he was not ordered, but he was like contracted to come to the town and get rid of the wolves because they were, they were taking the livestock and stuff like that. And so it just follows the story of like the two areas of the movie kind of like conflicting with each other in one form or another.
Okay.
And loved that movie. So goddamn good.
What is it? Is it streaming on something?
The Apple streaming service.
Okay.
I think it's Apple TV.
Okay.
I think that's the one that it's on because I've been seeing a bunch of stuff on Facebook and stuff like that about like ads for it and whatnot. Another recent movie was that I hadn't seen, funnily enough, Wes Anderson movie, Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh,
That,
I was hoping for a different one. I haven't seen that one, but
that one's
I've heard it's
really good.
Yeah.
That one's really good.
Look, whenever we watch Fantastic Mr. Fox, I will watch Grand Budapest Hotel with you in the same sitting.
I
We should
would
have
be
like
down.
a Wes Anderson day because we should watch Isle of Dogs too because I've been wanting to watch that one.
Oh, that one's so good. Grand Budapest Hotel, one of my favorite iterations of a Willem Dafoe character, beats out Green Goblin from the first Spider-Man movie.
Are you trying to tell me they took William Dafoe back to formula?
How dare you, Danny?
Is that what you're implying? Because he was pretty good in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
He was very good, but I'm just saying that I like his character in Grand Budapest Hotel better. His character in Grand Budapest Hotel is like the gang's assassin who's got like the standard, like he's got like a few standard like Willem Dafoe weird quirks about the character.
Okay.
Mind-bogglingly funny to me in some cases, because there's a plot that is just and then you eventually get to the ending and you're like, what year is it? Where have I been?
I have, based on that, I do have another movie, but continue.
I was only going to say one more. And okay, can I say two more?
Yes.
I won't say it's a favorite, but it is a movie I've seen way too many times. The first one is Bruce Almighty.
That's a good one.
I can quote that movie.
Yeah. I think pretty much any movie with
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey is gold.
Yeah.
I'm a liar fan.
That's another great one.
Yeah.
Why, speaking of him, I was talking to my mom today. She cannot stand him.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why.
Even as Robotnik?
She didn't see Sonic.
Oh, okay. Reconnaissance.
Reconnaissance.
It was so. Anyway. So. Not liar.
I love Liar Liar. I think I've seen both of them a lot.
Yes.
I think I might have seen Bruce Almighty slightly more.
It is a very funny movie.
I think only because there were a few camping trips with my parents when I was younger where I had that movie, that DVD that I brought with me, as opposed to Liar Liar, and so I would watch that like once or twice during the camping trip. The second movie, Danny might hate me on this one because it's a Star Trek movie.
Which
Your face
Hold
is
on.
beaming with judgment, Danny. Just let him say it, Danny. I want to.
It is a Kirk movie.
Is it an old Kirk movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Specifically, The Undiscovered Country. I love that one.
The one where he punches himself. I can't believe I made out with you.
Yes.
That must have been your biggest ambition. It's self-aware humor. That one is pretty fun.
Yes.
They're all fun for the record.
Yeah.
Okay. Undiscovered Country. Is that the one? Okay, hold on.
Let loose the dogs of war.
He brought up assassination plot,
Yep.
and then at the end they all save the day, and then they stand up on the podium and pose for a picture that no one was taking.
Yep. And then they all because at that point in the the Kirk canon of the time, Sulu was a captain.
Oh my.
And so he was the captain of his own ship, and he had his own crew. And then Kirk had his own crew still, which was like all the original crew except Sulu. And so it was at the end of the movie, they're just both like staring at this sun in the distance. And it's just this really nice, like, this is the end.
Okay. So you like the finality of it?
No, well, I guess that might be part of it, but not. That's definitely not something that I like go to about it. I just love that movie in general.
Why?
The concept.
So why that one over, say, Wrath of Khan?
To be fair, I love of those 6 movies.
Uh-huh.
I love all of them except the first one.
You don't like V'ger?
I don't like V'ger.
I feel like V'ger, Star Trek, the motion picture is the name of it.
We have had this discussion before, ladies and gentlemen.
I feel like if it were to be played at 1.5 times speed for the uninitiated, it would probably be considered a better movie. If they changed it so it wasn't like sped up voices, but like the movie moved faster, because it's a very slow, drawn out movie, because it is the first motion feature length
movie for Star Trek.
for Star Trek.
And it was a rough experience if you don't know that it is a slow movie.
It's also all about sex, like 100%.
Yeah.
But that's it. What does God
Need with a starship.
Which one's that? That's not 4?
Yeah, don't look at me, man.
I think that isn't that.
You have them all listed over here, don't you?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Do you remember Doc Brown from Back to the Future?
He's Khan, right?
No, he's not Khan.
That'd be hilarious.
That'd be amazing. He's in the following movie in 3.
That's right. You're telling me he was a Klingon in that movie, right?
He's a Klingon general. He's like, and it's so incredible.
That sounds awful. I want to see it.
It's great.
To be fair,
It's not awful. It's just, it's Doc Brown.
it's very clearly facial structure.
Yes.
Like you could slap some Klingon head ridges on him, it still looks like Doc Brown.
You know it.
To be fair, while you may have joked about the Klingon language, very heavy in the K sounds.
Okay.
Super heavy in the K sounds.
Yes. And they eat worms.
They do love. They also have a type of coffee.
They call it Gokt.
No, that's the worms. That's the worms.
That's the worms I'm talking about.
The drink, it is Klingon coffee called Rock the Gino.
Okay. On a side note, Gokt is a Japanese singer.
It is.
Gokt.
You know the Japanese goth rock I used to listen to a lot?
Mm-hmm.
He was in one of those bands.
He was and then he eventually had his own solo career, didn't he?
Yeah, no, he's doing other stuff. Yeah, I think he's like doing like fitness videos now.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him, man. He's
awesome.
He's doing goth stuff. Good for him.
Yeah. But
making me think of Malice Miser and stuff like that. I haven't listened to them in years.
there's also you will see it a lot more because you're watching DS9. Klingon blood wine.
That sounds great.
It comes around a lot. in DS9, you get a lot of Klingon blood wine and rock Genos. And then occasionally Gok, when they get a Klingon chef on the ship.
They got, well, there is the chef. Mm-hmm. They wasn't really introduced. The doctor's taking this lady on a date, right?
Uh-huh.
Jadzia Dax.
He's trying to impress her. So he's ordering Klingon food. And she's like, oh, can I take a look at that, Gok? And she looks at it and she goes, she just starts screaming in Klingon at the chef.
Oh, yeah!
And the chef just starts screaming back at her. And, like, they're just in a screaming match. Like, Gok, Gok, Gok. And then, like, the chef looks and just goes, like, ha, I love a woman who knows what she wants. And, like takes the Gok and just throws it over his shoulder into the wall.
Yep.
And just pulls out, like, a new plane. He's like, fresh Gok or whatever.
So, for the record,
it's great.
this character that he's referring to, this female character that Dr. Julian Bashir of this episode of Deep Space Nine,
Season 2, I don't remember her name.
I think it's like season 2, episode 10.
No, not even that far. But anyway.
She is also in the medical field.
Uh-huh.
She is a science officer, so she wears blue. She is handicapped. Essentially, she's like blonde, like.
She's blonde, but handicapped isn't the right word because she's technically not.
Oh no, she has like cerebral issues, doesn't she?
No, her race lives on a planet that has like a quarter of the gravity.
That's right.
So whenever she's not on her planet, she's basically refined to a wheelchair because it's too much pressure on her bones and stuff.
Okay.
So like when she got there, everything needed to be like wheelchair accessible and stuff.
And then, as another part of the date, she takes him to like an anti-grav room.
Her room.
Her room, essentially. And basically just like dials down the gravity, and Julian's just like, ugh.
He's like, I have no idea what to do, and she's like, just give yourself a push. And so, really charming scene. You know, they're flying around. So.
Okay.
But she was not happy about the Gok. Is the point I was trying to make.
Okay.
Any other mentions of Star Trek movies or scenes? Did you like the new Star Trek movies?
I love him. I thought Benedict Cumberbatch was a great Khan. I think he's great. I think he does it very well.
I like him, and I really like Chris Pines, just in general. Everything I see Chris Pines in. I'm
so, I can't remember his name. The new Spock. I love the fact that actor spent a ton of time with Leonard Nimoy. And was
really?
like, so he was like, I want to get this character right. What would and there were some interviews I think where he was talking about like, what would you, being Leonard Nimoy, what would you think of like how a young Spock would act, since Leonard Nimoy was the original Spock. Mm-hmm. And so just seeing, I really do like the new ones, and I hope they keep doing more. But I do think I could see it being a little bit of a stress on Chris Pine, because he is getting a little older, and it definitely shows in some of his movies. That also could just be makeup, and I could be wrong.
Cut to Tom Cruise playing early 20s something for the past 50 years. Early 20s something guy.
That's Scientology.
It's not, but have you seen the new Star Trek movies at all?
I've seen the first two.
The first two? Okay. Then you're in the same boat as me, because I didn't watch the third one either.
Okay.
I understand it's actually pretty solid.
Okay.
But there's just a random motorcycle in it, so you can have a motorcycle scene.
Oh, good.
Would you like me to explain it for you?
Sure.
So, spoilers for anyone who has not seen the third newest Star Trek movie. I can't remember. Into Darkness was the second one.
That's two.
I can't remember what the third one was called. But
Star Trek Insurrection.
Is it?
No.
No, that's one of the Picard movies.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Anyway, this one, huge spoilers I'm going to tell you now. It has Idris Elba in it.
Who is?
Did you see Pacific Rim?
Yes.
He was the first one.
Yes.
He was Pentecost.
Who?
Who?
The black man
It's been a while.
He was the dude. Okay, so
I don't remember the people in that movie. I remember the robots.
You don't remember the little girl crying and it's a dusty scene?
No. Like,
Oh,
vaguely maybe.
he was Heimdall in the Thor movies.
I never saw the Thor movies except for Ragnarok. And if he was in Ragnarok, I don't remember him.
He's in a little bit of Endgame, or not Endgame.
Infinity War.
He's in a little bit of Infinity
He's
War.
at the very beginning of Infinity War.
He doesn't make it past the beginning of Infinity War. Trying to find stuff that he's been in. He's been in the Fast and Furious. You know Fast and Furious.
Oh, absolutely.
I know you're big on Fast and Furious.
Did you watch, what is it, wasn't there a Dark Tower show?
Yes.
Did you watch that?
No.
I'm looking for something that he might have. He was in Suicide Squad.
I did see Suicide Squad. That was really bad.
Wait, which Suicide Squad is this? He's in the upcoming Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay.
I would tell you that he's the voice of a character, but that doesn't help.
I'll take your word for it.
He's in it.
He's a great actor.
Okay.
He's a very good actor. The motorcycle.
Is he the motorcycle?
No, he is not.
Up on Chris Pines. Today we ride for freedom.
So in this movie, Chris Pine, Kirk, and his crew show up on a planet where there is a very, very old. We're talking like shortly after the Enterprise series ends, model of Enterprise ship. Lands on the planet long, long ago. So Kirk shows up. The Enterprise gets blown up. So he doesn't have a ship anymore. He finds this old ship, and the previous captain of that ship had a motorcycle on it. As just kind of like it's my motorcycle, I want it on my ship. And so they kind of clean up the motorcycle, and it ends up showing up in one of the scenes.
Nice.
That's the TLDR of why there's a motorcycle scene.
So, Kevin, in the new movies, as you might recall, in like one, the bad guy spaceship was the tentacle coming out of the void thing.
Yeah.
It was just massive. Technically, it was just a mining vessel.
But it was
that
specifically a mining vessel from way in the future.
way in the future that he basically just put weapons on and went back to the past, Samurai Jack, to kill everybody, to get revenge. The second movie is like a super warbird Federation vessel, top secret. That's just like, it dwarves the Enterprise. And it's just big and better at everything. At one point, Kirk tries to bail. And he's like, okay, we're at warp 1. You know, we're safe. The best they could do is warp 1, and we'll get wherever we're going first. And when that's enough time to, like, get to people. This thing goes faster than warp 1 and just catches up and is hovering above the ship.
Oh my god.
And missiles it. And it basically spins out of warp and just crashes through the effect or whatever and just gets knocked out of warp. And the thing just stops on it. And it's just like, I'm going to kill you now. Like, I wish you didn't run, but you did. Now you're going to die. In the third one, they take it in the opposite direction. Instead of a big death ship, it's a bunch of little ones, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
And they all work basically as a swarm.
It's a, like, hive mind
Yes. So
mentality.
instead of a bigger, badder ship, which is a common thing in superhero movies.
Yep.
I'm Spider-Man. Oh no, I have to fight bigger, better Spider-Man.
AKA Venom.
I'm Iron Man. Oh no, I have to fight bigger, better Iron Man. That's the first movie.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I'm Ant-Man. I have to fight bigger, better, smaller, better Ant-Man.
No, they were the same size. They were
His
able
guns were bigger.
They were able to become the same size. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, his
You know,
guns were bigger. But he's in a better suit. and he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't know, what's another superhero?
Batman.
I'm Batman. I have to fight a bigger, better Batman.
In the form of.
Man-Bat.
There you go.
Boom!
He did fight Superman in one of the comics, and it was actually a really fun, interesting fight.
Superman had to fight a shittier, lesser version of Superman. Named Bizarro.
He's not necessarily shittier, he's just not as smart.
Do you remember the Bizarro episode of C-Lab 2021?
No, I didn't watch that show too much. I've only seen like 2-3 episodes.
It's an amazing episode.
Anyway, I do have my third movie.
Okay.
Back to the Future 2.
So the one where they
Go to the future.
Yes, specifically.
I really, really enjoy this movie. It's a fun ride.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the phrase technological marvel might be a stretch, but in one scene, they have one person playing 4 characters side by side interacting with each other in the same scene.
Really?
Yes.
Which scene was it?
The dinner table. They're all like, he's upside down in the chair, and he's like, oh, I threw my back out on the golf course. And then the young kid's like, oh, Grandpa, you crazy nut. And
Yep.
there's 4
Michael J. Fox's.
Michael J. Foxes.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and it's clean. It's not like, oh, that's obvious green screen. Like, it still looks good today.
So basically what they did, if I remember correctly, was they just had Michael J. Fox in, like, single character screens. Where it was just him doing each person.
And then they kind of like spliced them together side by side.
So that way it looked like they were at a dinner table.
But it looks great. It's seamless. You know, my childhood self didn't even realize it was the same actor at the time. It just looks so great.
One of the characters that he does is they made Michael J. Fox oh no, what's the term for it? When a dude dresses up, drag.
Mm-hmm.
Basically Michael J. Fox just was in drag to play future Marty's daughter.
Okay.
I love the little jabs at how great the future is going to be, sort of thing. Like, at one point in the same scene, they're cooking pizza. And they have like a little pizza like this, and they go and put it in the microwave, and like the kid is like, "Is it done yet? Jeez!" And like they hydrate, they push a button, and then they just open it up, and it's like a full pizza, like steaming hot. It took like less than a second, and they put it down, and they cut it, and like, "Oh man, pizza my favorite," and they're like. Self-drying jacket and like auto-tightening shoes. Like, their version of the future is interesting and really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But lo and behold, when we got, I believe it was 20... That movie takes place theoretically in 2019?
I don't remember the specific year.
It was like a couple years ago or something.
It was recent.
And there were a lot of people that were just like, oh man, we're like 2 years away from Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
We got a long way to go.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
And then someone tried to create a legitimate hoverboard, and then it was exploding.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, and then they sold those things they called hoverboards, and those catch fire too.
Yep.
So
Good.
it's been the theme.
Yeah.
That movie is great. The trilogy is great. I don't care for the third one personally.
You just don't like the Old West. You don't like the fact that they don't have plumbing.
I like 5 Goes West. So your argument's invalid.
I agree with Danny. That's a really fun movie.
No, I don't like how the third one ends. It tries to put it all in a neat bow, but it is contradictory to me.
I could see that. Well, because it's true. Because, like you said, they try to... The entirety of the trilogy... Doc Brown is like, I never should have invented that.
He's like, this was a mistake.
That infernal time machine. And saying it was a mistake.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the third movie...
You think he's dead. He sacrificed himself so Marty could get back to normal time.
Okay.
And then once he's back, he gets Jennifer, his girl.
Yeah.
And then they go back to where... like the railroad or whatever, and there you start hearing like the sound effects of like a time machine coming that you've heard throughout the trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
and then it's just a giant time machine, steam powered train.
I remember you hating the steam powered idea.
The
Danny.
first thing he does is he just runs down. He goes, "Marty, it runs on steam." Like, don't.
just don't.
First of all, don't. He's like, I've decided to make just a time machine for me and my immediate family. I just wanted you to meet my kids.
And that's
Jules and Vern.
which I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah, I mean, it's great in of the fact that it is just a happy ending for everybody.
Except for the fact that there's still a time machine.
But it's like the whole purpose of this whole trilogy is time travel is a mistake, and it will always lead to terrible consequences.
Yep.
And then he's just like, nope, time machine, bye.
Good luck with your life, Marty!
Don't rent that timeshare, and he takes off.
Yep.
But the whole series as a total is great. I love how cyclical it is.
Yeah.
The reoccurring themes is normal for many sequels.
Okay.
You'll see the same jokes hashed out and stuff, but like it's like through the generations, you'll see like the different versions of each Biff. And I mean, he's technically just still the same Biff. Well, no, in Back to the Future 2, there's the two generations of Biff.
Correct. Because there's
The young Biff bullies old Biff.
I think I remember seeing that.
correct me if I'm wrong, isn't his name Griff?
Probably, yeah. I don't know.
And so it's like there's the original Biff, who
It's just a jerk.
he's your stereotypical like high school bully asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2 you get senioritis Biff,
Who's
As what-
getting bullied.
who's getting bullied by like his grandson, Griff. And then in 3 you get Buford.
Mad Dog Tanner or something.
Tannen.
Tannen.
So Buford, and he hates his name.
Don't,
And
don't call him Mad Dog.
yeah.
It makes him mad.
Oh, okay.
And so it's just like you've got throughout the trilogy 4 different Biffs, technically, all played by the same character.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's 5 Biffs, because there's Trump Biff.
Yes.
I was about to ask about Tycoon Biff, but I like Trump Biff better.
That's still the same, technically the same person, just in a future where he's rich.
Yeah.
But yes, you are correct.
Yeah, 5 iterations of
5 iterations of Biff. And Trump Biff is the biggest asshole of them all.
I've seen Trump Biff,
because there's a
like-
literal scene where he's there and Marty's mom.
and he's like threatening to like beat his mom, right?
No, he's threatening to just like, you get over here or I'll rip your tits out.
That's right.
And she's like, "You're the one who wanted these. Whatever, I'm out."
And it's just like,
He's like, "Okay, you can leave, but I'm gonna stop paying for all of your children's stuff."
and she's like, you wouldn't. And he's like, oh, I would.
I would. I was referring to the scene on the rooftop where he's like threatening to kill Marty because Marty just knows about the sports almanac that made him rich.
Mhm.
He's like, Marty's like, if you shoot me, the police are gonna match up the bullet to that gun, dude. Like, you're not gonna get away with it. He goes, kid, I own the police. Like, besides, they couldn't match up the bullet that killed your old man because he killed his dad to make the woman of his life become a widow
Mhm.
so he could win
Marry
over.
her.
He murdered his father,
George.
McFly, to get to his mom.
Damn.
And he's just like, he's pissed. And he's ready to go at him. And then the guy just like cocks the gun. He's just like,
Lest we bring up the titular phrase, I am your density.
yes.
Because
I'm your density.
because George is an awkward mess. And he was supposed to say, I'm your destiny.
But he's just so nervous. He's so charmingly nervous because it's the woman of his dreams.
And then at the end of 2. End of 1? End of 2?
It's one.
End of 1, he gets hooked back up with
I do recall
whatever her name is. I don't remember.
Lorraine.
Lorraine, that's right. While you think on it, third movie?
Wreck-It Ralph.
You did say
You
third.
did say.
You did say the Ralph Wrecker.
Are there any other movies of note that you guys want to talk about?
I would like to talk about bad movies that we enjoy watching. Because we've watched a lot of those together.
That would almost be a whole nother episode in and of itself.
I feel like that should be the next episode because I feel like you two could go on for probably a full episode, and I would be the equivalent of you for Danny and I doing a Star Trek episode.
There's no guilty pleasure movies.
No.
You enjoy every movie equally for different reasons.
Because it's a great day.
Well, there's got to be some movies that you're like, this is bad. This is entertainingly bad. Have you ever seen Manos, The Hands of Fate?
No. There's a ton of movies that you could name, and I would immediately tell you, no, I have not seen them. And if I have, then I'd probably be like, I like something about it.
Yeah, I like something about it. It doesn't make it a good movie.
Sure, but here's the problem, though, Danny. Good is subjective.
Yes. So I'm saying, from your perspective,
Mhm.
are there any movies that you can enjoy ironically, or that are not they're not good movies, but you still enjoy them?
See, again, it's subjective because you guys say that Captain Marvel's a bad movie,
Uh-huh.
but I like it.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with liking a movie that we don't like, but there's got to be movies that you don't like. You can't have liked every movie you've ever seen. I do have one more movie of note that I want to talk about.
I can't think of any off the top of my head.
It's an older movie called It's a Mad, 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 Mad World.
I think I've heard of it.
I've seen parts of it.
Yes. A group of people are going down the highway and someone speeds past them, just flying by them. Ends up taking the wrong curve and flies off and crashes. So the cars that see it stop and they go down to the wreck, and the person is dying, and he's just like, listen guys, there's $30,000 just buried, and I was on my way to get it and I'm dying. You guys need to go get it and just live great lives. It's too late for me. It's buried under a giant W. Under a giant W. And so this group of people, he dies. The police, they're like talking about, what do we do? The police show up immediately afterwards. And they're like,
Did y'all do this?
he's like, no. They're like, was he alive when you got down here? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, did he say anything? And they're like, what do you mean, did he say anything? He goes, what do you mean, what do I mean? Did he say anything or didn't he say anything? And they're like, they kind of lie, or like they don't talk about the money. And so the police kind of leave. And so they're all like, man, the police showed up really quick for this. Like, maybe the money's real. And so they're like, let's all just drive down there and split the money. And they're like, how are we going to split it? And they spend a long time talking about how to split the money. They're like, oh, we could just split it per car. But some people have 3 people in their car. Some only have 1. So they're like, that's not fair. It should be the people who went down to see the wreck. But that's not fair for another reason. So they all disagree. They're like, look, we've sat here for an hour trying to figure out different ways to split it. No matter how we try and figure it out, someone doesn't like it. So what I think we should do is first person there gets to keep it. And they're like, that's not happening. And they all kind of like slink back to their cars and then they take off. Hilarity ensues. It's an all-star cast from back then.
Sure.
Even the smallest cameos are just famous actors. At one point, the Three Stooges are just standing there. They're like the firefighters or something, and they're just like standing still. They don't even do anything.
Okay.
Very funny. The police are onto them the whole time, and so they're keeping tabs. And they keep finding, like, one person gets to an airplane, so they're like, oh, you can't take this, we're on this one. And so they take off, and other people, like, well, one dude crashes, so he's got to, like, oh, I need to go get a new car. And he's got a moving truck, so he grabs a little bike out of it and starts, like, going down the street on a little bike. It's very funny. It's very funny. All the paths converge at the giant W.
Right.
Definitely one of my favorite movies of all time.
That is one you light up when you talk about.
Yes. I did watch it recently as well.
Fair enough.
But that is my honorable mention.
I would like to at least touch on Thumbelina.
Yes, absolutely. Can you say that this is one you enjoy?
I enjoy it for how many things how many things in it that are just so wrong.
They're just not okay is how I would describe it.
How did because remember when it was still on Disney Plus, we sat down and watched it. What was the term you used to describe that movie to me?
Oh, what did I say? I don't recall.
So something like it was certainly a movie, or it was a problem or something like that.
It was a problem sounds like a way I would describe that movie. Very, very negative view on women in general.
Oh, I've seen parts of it
Yeah.
because of Kevin.
Yeah. It does not treat Thumbelina with any sort of respect.
No.
The movie as a whole, the characters inside it definitely, but the movie as a whole does not treat her with any sort of kindness, I guess.
I think her mom, the normal sized person that finds her.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Maybe the prince. I think the prince wants to marry her, and that's why. I know the prince wants to marry her, but I think that's why he treats her.
But why does the prince want to marry?
I think it's because she's the most beautiful girl he's ever seen. He just shows up on his bee.
That's literally what every character who meets her wants to do.
Yeah. It's a movie about a bunch of animals that want to fuck a 3-day-old teenager. It's the greatest description I've ever heard for that movie.
It's not wrong though. That movie is it's a problem.
Out of all the I guess you could call them villains. There's no true villain in that movie.
No, there's not.
But
The true villain is us for watching it.
for allowing it to exist
For
in the
allowing
world
it to exist.
Out of all the characters she encounters, which one is your favorite?
My favorite?
Yeah.
And why isn't it Berkeley Beetle?
I mean, Berkeley Beetle, just because the voice actor.
It's Gilbert Gottfried.
Gilbert Gottfried as a beetle at a show club is pretty great. Hearing him sing "Wow, wow" is top-notch entertainment. I do like the mole.
He's also one of the decent people in that movie.
He's semi-decent.
Compared to everyone else.
He tries way harder than the frogs do. The frogs are like, I'm just going to bully you into marrying me. He's like, I could buy your affection. You'd live comfortably with me.
Well, even Mrs. Fieldmouse sings about, don't marry for love. This dude's loaded and he wants to take care of you.
Yeah.
Like, love is stupid. Marry the mole.
Marry the mole.
Marry the goddamn mole.
At least his eyes are blue.
just flashing back to that remix I did of that song.
Yeah.
Back to you, John. Have you thought of any movies that you enjoy but that you don't think is a good movie? I believe the movie Space Jam would fit under that description for many people. You can enjoy it, but you understand it's not a great movie.
See, I never think of it that way, because if I watched it now, which I probably wouldn't, just because I don't have an interest to watch it now.
Mm-hmm.
But when I watched it, or I guess when I was watching it, I didn't think of it as a bad movie.
What about you know what I'm trying to say though, right?
Right.
Can you think of anything that fits that description?
With those caveats of me enjoying it, but knowing that it was a bad movie?
Knowing, or you understand that it wasn't a great movie, but you still enjoyed it anyway.
Not really, because I'm very true to myself on that, where if I know it's a bad movie, I'm probably not enjoying it.
The Hobbit movies.
Loved them.
Really?
Yep.
Well,
Even though they were not, completely accurate to the books, but none of the movies are.
Every time I hear about the Hobbit movies, I just remember the promotion Denny's had with the Shire sausage.
Where you
Hobbit
could get, like, the Hobbit breakfast.
the Hobbit hole.
That thing
Yeah.
was delicious,
It was
dude.
delicious.
Yeah.
Was that during our Denny's days?
It was during our dinner.
I think
we were
we could get collectible
Yeah, we were,
cards.
we were collecting the cards. I still have some of those somewhere.
I really want to, like, start going back to Denny's again. That'd be really nice.
I do miss Timbers.
I also, I do want to go back to
Yeah,
Timbers.
I'd rather Timbers. I'm afraid I'm Denny's out.
You did hit up Denny's a lot.
Yeah, that was hundreds of times, literally.
Yeah.
Like the waitress knew me by like first name.
Maybe Timbers.
Timbers.
Maybe.
I do like Timbers.
But it felt like there was going to be another movie that you were going to bring up.
I'm trying to think of some.
Because, like, I was going to mention I
What about, did you like the Transformers movies?
never watched them.
Any of them? Sam Witwicky?
Nope.
Megan Fox leaning over a vehicle with a high cut top or whatever?
She is physically attractive,
I know. That's why they put her in there.
but I didn't watch the movie.
Bumblebee?
I mean, I know of it from, like, the trailer or from, like, clips.
Optimus Prime?
Yeah, he's voiced by,
Toonami guy.
no.
Well, that would be awesome.
That's Steve Bloom.
No, it wasn't. No, it was. Sorry, there's a Toonami like narrator. It wasn't the.
It wasn't Tom.
It wasn't Tom. It was the guy who like did all the narration in like the promos for shows when we were teenagers.
No, Optimus Prime was voiced by...
The boys are back in town.
No, I'm pretty sure he was voiced by, I might have this wrong then, but he was voiced by, Elrond in Lord of the Rings. Mr. Smith in The Matrix.
Okay.
Red Skull in the Marvel movies.
Optimus Prime is
That guy.
that guy?
I think so, yeah.
Did they run his voice through a bunch of modifiers?
Yes. Because it's pretty hard for a human being to make a robot voice.
So I got a movie. I think you can attest to this one with me as well, Danny.
Okay.
The G.I. Joe movie from
The-
the 80s.
The animated.
The animated ones.
See, that one is. I unironically love that movie.
As do I. I don't think it's a good movie. It is definitely a movie about a cartoon designed to sell toys to children.
Yes.
And it holds that level of quality.
I mean, okay, if you're going to talk quality, we have to discuss that the opening song and animation
Fantastic.
is way above that level of quality. They really went all out on that G.I. Joe opening.
Oh, yeah.
But then the movie starts. And while I do think it is really great in general, it is not the best of movies. Just,
Sorry, I had it backwards. Hugo Weaving is the actor. He's the voice of Megatron.
oh,
okay.
Peter Cullen is the voice of Optimus
That's his
Prime.
name, Peter Cullen. Yeah.
Did he do Toonami stuff?
He did the narration. He was the guy that was like, Roger Smith is in a city of no memories and he pilots the Big O. Watch it tonight at midnight. But it was like super badass and super hype.
Yeah.
Like those, like Mark and I will still go back and watch those promos every now and again on YouTube. They were a lot of fun.
I'm trying to think of more movies that I would.
Classify as bad, but you enjoy.
Yeah, because I enjoy a lot of movies, ironically.
How about Ferngully?
Never saw it.
So it is a bad movie. I'm just trying to think if I enjoy it ironically.
I enjoy Hexus because it's Tim Curry.
Yeah, I mean he definitely elevates it. Did you watch many movies growing up or in general?
Kind of. Not a ton, maybe. I don't know.
What about shows?
Star Trek.
You've watched some of Code Lyoko with us.
I have seen some of Code Lyoko.
I understand you're probably not interested in Code Lyoko.
Not anymore.
Do you think it's decent?
Yes. Or at least back when I watched it before I did. My opinion hasn't changed much of it.
This is a very interesting...
Conundrum I've given you?
This is a very interesting viewpoint, John. And you're the same with video games, generally.
Kinda.
Do you have games that you enjoy that you don't think are great games? You just enjoy them for a specific reason?
I mean, outside of liking the game?
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to look at like my Steam library or something. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
It's like if Star Fox 64 were to come out for the first time this day and age, it wouldn't be a great game. It'd probably get glossed over.
Extremely.
Yeah. I love that game.
Oh yeah, no,
It's a great game.
it is a great game.
But by today's standards,
No.
it's
For
like,
time.
because you know it would come out with like a $40 price tag, if not more. Even if it wasn't first party like Nintendo, if it was just this game's out, most people would just look it over. It's space furries, okay, whatever. Not my thing. Next,
Yeah.
People vote it down and be like, I beat it in like 30 minutes.
What's the point of this game?
Crappy game.
Yeah.
Unsubscribe. I love that game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think. I mean, I do think it's great. Let me think. Buck Bumble. I know you haven't played it.
Yeah.
I know you haven't played that one.
I have not.
You own it.
I do own it, actually.
Yeah, because Josh and I bought it for you.
Yes. We could play that. You wouldn't like it. But the
It's-
opening song is more than enough reason to boot it up.
So, fun story about Josh and the opening song. There was a day him and I were at work. It was just the two of us in the store. Slow as hell day. And it is empty. Aside from a bee that has somehow made it into the store. And I'm just like, oh shit, Josh, there's a bee in the store. What should we do? Because Josh is my boss at this point. He goes, oh, there's only one thing we can do. And I was like, oh, what, do we open the door? And he goes, no. And then he goes to the computer and just puts on the Buck Bumble theme. And we just watch this bee fly around the lobby while blasting the Buck Bumble theme because there's nothing else to do. I'm going to play that song for you after we're done recording, John.
Okay.
It's great.
Right about now.
Right
It's
about
time
now.
to Buck Bumble.
Very soon it'll be time to buck with Biggity Buck Bumble.
So I know you don't like Atlantis, Danny. Would you say it's a bad movie?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
I think it's a great movie. My issues entirely lie with the main character. Not a big fan of Kiraga Shinaga either, but
Okay.
that's more personal preference.
Of what?
Kira.
Kiraga
Gotcha.
Shinaga.
Gotcha.
She does swim pretty, girl. I mean, pretty good. Oh my god. I'm so embarrassed, guys. That's so embarrassing.
So what about Rugrats in Paris? Have I forced you to watch that?
I've seen it. I don't know that I would say I like it, even ironically, or that it's a good movie, though. That falls off the radar for me.
What are your favorite movies that I've forced you to watch?
Oh no, you're making him having to deep dive.
I just have to
Back
think
when we lived together, I would.
I just have to think of a list. I mean, I would put frame by frame Goofy Movie as a different movie than Goofy Movie. So
Absolutely.
I would say that one is pretty high up there.
How did I sell you on that? I'm not gonna lie. That sounds like something so incredibly hard to sell someone on.
Oh,
Bless you.
Thank you.
Like if I came up to you, John, and I was like, "Hey man, how about I pop in my PS3? We're gonna watch the Goofy Movie frame by frame. It's gonna be a good time." What would you say to that?
Probably my exact reaction would be like, let me get a drink.
Well, I appreciate you for at least humoring me on that.
Yeah. Well, because I'd be like, I do like a Goofy Movie. There might be a point where I'm just like,
have you?
this is going long. And so it's like, hold on, let me refill my drink.
You feel it's getting long, and then you listen to some stuff in slow motion, and it just revitalizes you. That little girl that he's
Oh.
taking a picture of.
Oh. I'm aware.
She sounds like a
That's
seal.
straight seal in slow motion.
Yeah.
Fishy, fishy.
It was great because the way you could control the speed on the PS3 was with the right analog stick.
And so it's like,
Yep, and I had that shit mastered.
yeah.
So we'd be like watching it, and I would just instantly slow it. The best part. I remember watching Princess and the Frog. It's that scene at the very beginning where Tiana's like looking out the window as a kid, and then this frog like just kind of like plops on the windowsill and just like goes like, "Brr," and she looks at it, and then I just slowed it down to like 25%. So she just lets out this deep ghastly bellow.
That was a perfect edit, actually. It was really great.
Because shit like that, you do it on the fly, and like no one else that's watching it with you like expects it.
Yeah. It's so sudden.
Yeah.
It's great. Man, I'm gonna have to try and get a list from you to see either game or movie that you like personally, but you understand is not good objectively. Because you can like something and know it's not good.
Mhm.
I'm going to throw this out there at Kevin's expense. Eiffel 65. I like that music,
I've only heard one song.
the blue song.
Yeah. It's catchy.
It is catchy. I like it.
That's-
I don't think it's a great song.
I strongly disagree.
I know,
I think it's fine.
but it's catchy. But you like it.
Yeah.
You think it's an okay, just lyrically.
Yeah. I think it's a good song, not like
I
a
think
fresh hot banger, but it is. I think it's a good song.
I'm gonna have to try and think of something, John, because I literally cannot believe either we're misunderstanding each other here,
It's very possible.
or you legit only. You don't have any guilty pleasures.
I used to love Jack in the Box fries, but not anymore.
But
He's
that's
so
not
pure.
that's not a guilty pleasure. That's just you liked fries.
I mean, I beg to differ. Salty ass fries from Jack in the Box are not exactly the healthiest thing for you.
We're not talking health. This guy doesn't know what a guilty pleasure is.
So would a movie that you put on to fall asleep knowing that it's bad be a guilty pleasure?
Absolutely.
Then in that case, Meet the Deedles.
I actually have a guilty pleasure. Meet the what?
It's on Disney Plus. It's called Meet the Deedles. Deedles. When I come over tonight after this, I'm going to force you to watch the first 5 minutes of it. I forced Mark to watch 51 minutes of it.
I'm surprised you managed to watch all of it.
It hit the
Never
point,
watched so
man, where
much.
he was just like, I can't.
It's like
We need to stop. I can't.
Okay, John. I'm gonna say, for closing remarks,
Uh huh.
I'm gonna have you read. Earlier today, I was discussing with Kevin a plot for a movie. It started out with just one scene that I could clearly see in my head.
Okay.
A movie that doesn't exist. But then the movie just played out. And so I just kept writing. Okay?
Okay.
I'm going to have you read out loud for everybody. This is my personal.
If it would
Creation.
If it would make it easier on you, I can bring it up on here.
Yeah,
It would
it is
be-
kind of small
It would be
text.
bigger text for you to read.
Okay.
Let's do that. I'm gonna
Would you like me to give it a fanciful voice?
You are more than welcome to do
Please do
exactly
it.
that. Yes. Let me send this to Kevin. 1 second.
All right, I just have your conversation.
I took the actual parts of it.
Ian, if we could get some nice dulcet tones while I read this script.
Because this is absolutely a guilty pleasure. I don't like what I've written.
Don't make him read. That's such a horror. I hate. It's like trying to read a green text on 4chan that someone captured on their.
well-
4K monitor.
give it.
Oh my god.
I will read this. I love green text on 4chan.
I love green text on 4chan too, but it's when they're presented in this format. Then again, my eyes are shit.
I'm reading all of this?
Yep. This is the plot to, I believe, what's the last Shrek movie that's come out? Forever?
Forever.
I thought there was one after that.
I wish.
Okay.
Was the Christmas special before?
I don't count that as a
It's not a movie.
Okay.
So this would be Shrek 5 Eva.
Okay. Oh boy. Where am I starting?
At
Take it from the
top.
top, buddy.
So, where it says so for context.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead and...
So for context. This was totally not gonna be an entire movie, but it literally was writing itself. Anyways, here goes. Oh, the do the roar scene.
That's from 4.
Actually, before you get into it,
Yeah.
before you get into it, let me give a little bit of context on how we got on this. Danny was telling me about this bank run he was doing for work, and how there was just all this just malarkey.
It was chaos at the bank today.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here just like running stuff in 14, like glancing back and forth at my other monitor, reading what he's saying. I'm like, bro, this sounds like the beginning of Shrek 4.
And I was like, because one of the things specifically was an old man was trying to get an account, and this worker was trying to help him, and they were like, you need to have an email account. He's like, I don't do email accounts. They're too expensive and they're unreliable. And so she had to walk him through the steps of getting a free email account. And so I was describing this to him. He goes, oh, that reminds me of the scene. That reminds me of the opening of Shrek 4.
Okay.
So I said, what happens at the start of Shrek 4? And he goes, he describes the birthday party. I go, oh, do the roar scene. So from there.
Yep. For some reason, I pictured Donkey trying to set Shrek up with an email address, but he's such a boomer, he doesn't get it. Shrek, you've gotta click twice. Am clicking twice, Donkey. And then the screen would have an on-the-nose sex chat joke like, single witches in your area get hexed tonight.
Yes.
He'd be getting more and more frustrated. Also, Pinocchio is there singing along with some TV program just to add to the noise, until he'd scream, I'm just trying to buy an anniversary present for my Fiona!
Can you spell out how Danny wrote that out?
Which, AHM space, just try in to buy an anniversary present for MAH FEE-ONA exclamation point.
I was like, look over and say Fiona.
And of course, Fiona is walking in right as he smashes the computer out the window. Fiona wouldn't have
punch out the window.
Yes, basically.
Fiona wouldn't have heard his yell, just the angry grunts afterwards, so she misunderstands his intentions and gets very upset with him and Donkey. So she goes and stays at her never-before-mentioned stepsister's kingdom to cool off, and in quotations, not quite so far away.
Yes.
Shrek, ashamed of his own ogre anger, now seeks to make things right yet again.
Isn't that one of the 7 scions in 14?
Shit, where was I?
Sets out to make things right again, because that's every Shrek movie.
He realizes that he will never understand computers, so instead he is going to Scamazon headquarters directly to pick up that perfect gift. Donkey joins him, Puss in Boots doesn't.
Yes.
After 20 minutes of hilarious fart jokes, the two realize that the CEO of Scamazon is actually the more successful and significantly taller older brother of Farquaad. Even though Tallquad, name changed, had no love for his brother, he angered at the ogre's presence and tries to have him captured. As all seems lost, a very small masked guard helps them get out of the tiny net trap. It was Puss in Boots in disguise. Shrek thinks to himself that friendship is more powerful than tiny net traps, and the three start escaping. They duck into a very noticeably unique side door to hide, only to find that there is something more sinister behind Scamazon's friendly face. All of the fairies are being kidnapped and forced to work there. Shrek finds a stressed fairy godmother, who has gained much more weight since Shrek 2.
Because she stress eats.
The movie explains that she didn't die in 2.
The expanded Shrek universe.
I'm sorry.
She was just teleported back to Fairyland or some such nonsense.
Yes.
Expand.
Shrek initially plans to leave her as she is still pretty mean to him. Once he turns to leave, however, she humbles herself and begs for his help. She apologizes about what she did and offers to make Fiona the perfect anniversary gift for the two of them. He takes pity and releases her. He also hands her a wand that up until now was not in the movie. Right as she takes the wand in her hand, the room lights up, revealing that Talquad was there the whole time with like 15 guards. One of them is asleep in the background because it was dark. She laughs and joins Talquad, who had actually saved her from Fairyland, on the condition that she sell out her fairy friends. Shrek looks down, angry but defeated. He feels some kind of magic happening silently behind his butt. Cue guaranteed laughter from the audience.
Yes, yes.
As Talquad closes in to chain him up, Shrek reaches to scratch his magically itchy butt to find Excalibur sheathed to his clothes. Goodness gracious.
What are your thoughts so far? This is the climax, but what are your thoughts so far?
Expected.
Okay.
I want this movie.
Tell me... Okay, well, I'll let you finish first.
It's a surprise double twist! Fairy Godmother sides with Shrek, and the three of them, Donkey gets like dragon scale armor and a mace that he holds in his mouth. Fight off the guards. Donkey sits on the sleeping one's head with his butt and then farts with 3 sideways crying smiley emojis.
Yes, that will be the audience when they see that scene.
Yes.
As you know, farting is very funny.
Yes. Talquad swears vengeance and escapes, but not before he is hit by a spell from the Godmother. What spell did I use? Asks Shrek, who is happy for the very first time in the movie. Oh, just a little something I've been cooking up just for him. Shrek, Donkey, and Puss, who wasn't in the fight, he found a room of yarn balls and was seduced, unable to aid his friends, head home to a now calm swamp house. As he opens the door cautiously, he smells the sweet smell of weed rat stew from the first movie to remind the audience that this is an expanded universe.
Yes, yes.
And here's Fiona happily singing to herself. They try and sneak in, still ashamed of how he acted at the start of the film, but she catches them and says, "Happy anniversary, Shrek." He looks over to see all of his fairy tale friends shoved into a single shot. Minus one character, but it's quick so you wouldn't notice. All of his friends are over to celebrate the happy couple. However, Shrek's ears drop. He forgot to actually get the present at Scamazon. He tries to explain everything he went through to a Fiona, who is just smiling to herself at his befuddled attempt. Aw, you don't have to get me anything. The best gift I could ask for is just seeing you try. Or some such nonsense. Still ashamed, but feeling slightly better, he hears a knock at the door. It is the fairy godmother. She brings in a huge package, wrapped in a big, colorful pink bow, and says something like, "A deal is a deal, Shrek," and takes off.
She's gone.
The couple, and all the fairy tale friends minus one, all look over the present in anticipation. What could it be? Right as they start to open it, a brilliant light shoots out of the package. Everyone gasps at how lovely the item is. The camera is on the opposite side, so we can't see what they see. And the movie cuts straight to credits. Nickelback's Someday starts blasting as the credits climb. There is a post-credits scene where Talquad is running through some cursed woods that Shrek and Donkey traveled through earlier. He is panicked and out of breath. The spell is changing him. He begins turning into a pig. He stops to catch his breath and look at his little stumpy pink arms, and hears a gruff voice behind him. He turns around to see the big bad wolf drooling at his next meal. The pig squeals and runs into a thorn bush, one that Shrek fell down on earlier in the movie. And the wolf just looks at the camera and goes, "What?" winks, and runs off to catch the new prey. End film. P.S. The credit roll is filled with all the dumb baby ogres that I forgot existed.
Okay, so first of all, thoughts on my script. It took me 15 minutes to type that out and think of it.
I want to see it.
You want to see the movie?
I would also absolutely love to watch this.
I think it would be great. I've gotten several yays, and I've gotten one, "Is this what you do with your free time?" response.
They don't know good entertainment, so.
Also,
Let me ask this, though. Let me ask this. Can you clearly see that movie playing out exactly like that?
yes. But it will never be made that way.
No, of course not. But Shrek, it was pretty much how Shrek movies tend to go.
A little bit,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. I didn't think it was going to be that long, ladies and gentlemen. But, hey.
I wish we could close our episode out with Nickelback's hit song,
Someday.
Someday.
But we can't.
I am not familiar with that song.
I will play it for you as soon as we're done.
Speaking of which, we should probably wrap up. Just so that way we don't have an extremely long episode again.
Yes, yes. Well,
But
I'm going to try and find over the week something that John likes but understands is not good. That is my goal.
and I wish him the best of luck. Any closing remarks, Kevin, before we wrap it up?
No.
All right, we're good. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I hope you loved Danny's script writing, voiced by me in this case.
It was. I do enjoy your reading of it, by the way.
Have you sent that to Justin?
I have not.
Anyway, thank you for listening. This has been the Square Table Communion. Once again, temporary name, maybe permanent, I don't know. But we will talk to you all in the next episode of whatever we're going to talk about next.
Bad movies.
Yes, bad movies.
Bad movies would be an entire episode.
Yes,
But John doesn't want to participate in it because no movie he's ever seen is bad.
according to Danny. But we will talk to you all in the next one. So, a goodbye.
Well, have a good one.